Hey everyone, welcome to Pennsylvania Bigfoot Structures. On today's episode, I want to tape the rest of this little complex here. And to me, when I first saw this, it felt like an enclosure. And so I'll get right in the middle there, where that tree is. That's where that really crazy weaving is, right there. And then the lattice type feature is over there, right? So everything is really close together here. Now, if this was metal, it would seem kind of like a jungle gym. Like if you can picture all these, everything you see here in like these little bends, curves, if all that stuff was metal, it could look like a jungle gym, but I don't think it could withstand the weight of even a baby Sasquatch, since it's all kind of like dead material. So my first thought when I got in there was a deer corral, some kind of enclosure. And then Bigfoot and Beyond, Cliff and Bobo, they talk a lot about, Bigfoot being a ambush predator. And when I was in here originally, it just had that feeling of like an enclosure. There's just no other word for it. And deer like to huddle. They'll herd together. And so I can definitely see deer getting in there. And the other thing is I've seen a lot of deer scat in this particular location. So that's my theory on this, all this. It just feels like someplace that they've maybe constructed for deer to get in there and huddle. And then some of the way the stuff like this one here and that right there, when deer are so skittish that they just want to flee, and they would be kind of like jumping through all this stuff in here. I think that was just my impression of what this felt like in here. I'm not saying there is a Sasquatch here, but just the fact that all these dead limb trees are stacked upon each other in a constructive way, you have to wonder who's out here doing this, and that because these are just dead limbs that are being put together in some kind of fashion. So we can definitely rule out nature on the lattice down there and that weave pattern. So I'm going to get into this little section right here. This is the last end of the complex and of the videos on here. And so that big thing you see right here, that is rooted. And so you can see that's a right angle. And then I'm going to show you this main part right here. That's not rooted. That's a dead end. And that's what I'm saying. Like, how does a dead end find itself, walk over, and put itself through that tree? And I'm in southern Pennsylvania, and like I usually say on all these videos, we don't have that kind of wind power to move a tree like that. So something has to come in here with hands. So nature is definitely ruled out on this one, because we just don't have that kind of wind to carry something over and place it there. And then the other thing we have right here in this little section is this one here. That is a lean-to. There's no root here, and then that is just propped up against this tree here. So that's here in the immediate area. And then I'm going to finish off with the loop. There it is. I'm going to finish off with this arch right here. And what's pretty interesting about this arch is it's really put into the bottom of the tree. Now, I would think that if this was nature, it would just, that's why I've got a couple of tree formation videos on arches. And like when I see a tree naturally arching that way, they're usually just kind of floating in the wind. Their leaves are just free form, you know, they're not touching anything. They're just kind of leaning over. And this one is really has been taken and put in between those two trees there. So I'm not sure there if nature has found its way somehow to do that, but that's what's happened to that tree. All right, so this over here, let's go over here and I'll just show. So this is the back end of this complex here. So that weave pattern in the other video is right where my finger is. So it's right close to each other. Everything is right here. All right, so you can see this one is rooted. So that's right there. It's at a right angle. And then what's not rooted is this particular branch right here. So I'm going to walk over here and show that. That's a pretty big hole. And then it's just off into the distance here. Just not resting anything, nothing particularly spectacular there. It's just put through this tree here. All right, so I'm gonna go under here, don't mind the camera. I'm gonna try and give a feeling of the enclosure here. That's not crazy forceful in there, like I've seen a couple of other ones. Like this one that I showed in the other video last week is really put down in there. It's like I was saying, it's kind of really hard to show that it is put down there with force. All right, so here we are inside what it feels like to me to be inside this enclosure here. So I think I put this on the other video. So you have this here. So deer, their first instinct is to jump. So they have kind of all these obstacles in their way to get out of here. Like if they were spooked, they can obviously get out of here. But there's so many little wood pieces that are gonna hinder them from having a clear path. I just showed this one here. This is gonna be right in there. They're jumping, this is gonna be right in their way here. They're gonna have to walk out of there. And deer are not gonna walk. If they're scared, they're gonna jump. They're gonna start running. And that's the end of the branch there and the right angle. All right, so I'm just gonna keep turning the camera And there's that lean-to I was talking about. So it has this is another impairment here. This is something just small. And then we're back to the circle here. And like I mentioned, there was a lot of scat in here, so they're definitely utilizing this little space. Yeah, so that was the first. I go, wow, a deer gets in here, they are just going to have a lot of obstacles that hinders their direct line of a getaway. Here's another little lean-to right there. And that's put in that little trident there. Show the end of this. I'm pretty sure I didn't take a look at this before, but having some experience seeing all these lean-tos, I'm thinking this is back here somewhere. Yeah, right here. Yeah, that's this one here. Alright, forget that idea. I think that's rooted there. That's rooted. Alright, everyone, forget that. Oh, so here's another great view here. Yeah, but next that. That's natural. There's that weave pattern that we went over last week. That's right there. So a deer gets in here, he's gonna have a lot of obstacles to get out of here, especially this hunker right here. All right, so this is the end of the enclosure here. That's the weaving over there. All right, so I'm going to close this off and go over there and talk about the big arch here. Let me just get this lean-to on here. Now this one I did check out, so it is a lean-to. And then this one is just placed up on this tree up here. So it's really interesting, I think, how does a tree do that? You know, how does it lean itself against another tree without a root? All right, so I hope you enjoyed the enclosure here. That was my theory on this little space here. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching.